Davy D. Jones, a name so ancient that even the so-called god of the world, Emu, cannot stand to hear it spoken aloud. In the latest One Piece revelations, Xebec proudly proclaimed that Davy D. Jones was once the king of the world. And Emu confirmed it, reacting with hatred, rage, and fear. But what if I told you that Davy D. Jones was not just some ancient king, not just another legend from the Forgotten Age? What if he was the very origin of the Will of D? What if Davy D. Jones was the first sun god Nika, the original warrior of liberation, whose legacy became the foundation of everything the D-Clan stands for today? This theory connects the oldest history of One Piece, the First World, Emu's rise, the fall of Joy Boy civilization, and the duality between Luffy and Blackbeard, all back to one ancient name, Davy D. Jones. Let's dive into the truth behind the man Emu despises more than anyone, and uncover how his will shaped the world itself. When Rocksteady Xebec resisted the Domi Reversi, the ability that even gods cannot fight against, he declared, Davy D. Jones was a former king of the world. Emu didn't deny it. Emu confirmed it. And just like that, Oda gave us a name that predates Joy Boy, predates the Void Century, and possibly even the Celestial Dragons themselves. Xebec's words were not random rebellion. He spoke as a descendant, as someone carrying the bloodline and the will of this ancient king. Emu's furious reaction wasn't because Xebec lied. It was because he remembered. The face of Rocksteady Xebec reminded Emu of Davy D. Jones. His eyes, his energy, his defiance, everything about him echoed the god that Emu once feared. And that single detail changes everything. Because it means Davy wasn't just a name in history. He was real. He lived. He ruled. He fought. And Emu destroyed his legacy completely, that only a few fragments survived, in the form of a single letter, D. Now, let's address the contradiction. How could the king of the world also be known as the warrior of liberation? At first glance, it doesn't make sense. A king rules. A liberator frees. But One Piece has always twisted the meaning of kingship. A real king in Oda's world doesn't rule through fear or bloodline. A real king rules through will, through freedom. Luffy never wanted to rule over anyone, but he wants to be the freest man in the world. And that is what it means to be king of the pirates. Roger understood it, Joy Boy lived it, and Davy embodied it. So when Xebec said Davy was the king of the world, maybe he didn't mean Davy controlled the world, but that he was acknowledged as its true king. A king not by throne, but by spirit. A king the people chose, rather than one forced upon them. And when Emu rose to power, that truth was buried, rewritten, and inverted, turning the true king into a false legend, and the false god into the ruler of the world. For centuries, the D initial has been a mystery. Roger had it, Luffy has it, Law has it, Blackbeard has it, even Garp, Dragon, and Ace all carry this strange, dangerous mark. Vegapunk himself said that the D-Clan were the natural enemies of the gods. But who was the first one to defy the gods? Who started this bloodline? Davy D. Jones. The will of D might not mean the will of destiny, but the will of Davy. His will to bring freedom, joy, and dawn to a world trapped in darkness. His will to oppose the divine tyranny of Emu and the celestial race. His will to never bow before false gods. That's the real meaning of the D, the signature of rebellion that even Emu can't erase. But to understand Davy, we need to go back further to what Vegapunk calls the First World. A civilization that existed before the Void Century. A world so advanced that even the ancient weapons were remnants of its technology. This was the world Emu ruled, the Age of Gods. A time when the Earth God, Emu, stood above all creation. But then came a rebellion, one led by Davy D. Jones, the son of the people. Davy was no ordinary man. He carried the radiance of the sun itself. He freed slaves, united races, and brought equality to the world. He was the dawn of the age of men and the enemy of the gods. In ancient texts, people called him the sun god. To his followers, he was Nika, the god of liberation. But to Emu, he was a traitor, a fallen god who dared to defy heaven. Emu waged war against Davy and his people, a war that destroyed the First World itself. Islands sank, continents vanished. The oceans rose to cover the ruins of Davy's kingdom. And the victors rewrote history, branding Davy a devil, his people as demons, and his ideals as dangerous dreams. And so the age of slavery began. The celestial dragons were born, and Emu, the false god, sat upon the empty throne. But Davies didn't die. It lived on in his descendants, the D clan, the children of the sun who would one day bring the dawn again. Now let's look at Rox D. Xebec, the man who came closest to resurrecting Davies' dream. Xebec wasn't chasing fame or treasure. He didn't care about titles or gold. He wanted to destroy the world government, tear down the celestial dragons, and remake the world from scratch. He was chaos incarnate, but he carried purpose. Emu's fear of him wasn't because of his power, but his bloodline. When Xebec stood on God Valley, Emu saw the face of Davy D. Jones. The same eyes, the same grin, the same unshakable defiance. And in that moment, Emu panicked, because for the first time in centuries, the sun had returned. But Xebec fell, betrayed, erased, forgotten. The world never knew what truly happened at God Valley, but Emu did. And that's why the name Davy D. Jones is forbidden, because it's not just a myth. It's a threat. Now let's shift our focus to Elbaf, the land of giants. The giants openly worship the sun god Nika. To them, Nika is both a destroyer and a liberator, a being who can burn the world but also set it free. That duality is fascinating because it mirrors Davy's legend perfectly. What if Nika is simply how the giants remember Davy D. Jones? And now we reach the most crucial inheritor of that will, Blackbeard. Marshall D. Teach is the perfect reflection of Davy's other half, the darkness. While Luffy inherited Davy's light, Teach inherited his shadow. Two descendants of the same ancient power, split by destiny. Blackbeard's fruit, the Yami Yami no Mi, is the fruit of darkness. But according to Vegapunk, every devil fruit represents a human dream. So what dream does darkness represent? It's not destruction for the sake of evil. It's rebirth through void. The black hole consumes everything. And when Blackbeard finishes his attack, he shouts the word liberation. Liberation, the same word tied to Nika, the same meaning. That can't be a coincidence. Blackbeard's darkness represents the death half of the sun god cycle. That's why Blackbeard can wield multiple fruits. He's not breaking the rules. He is the rule. He carries the void that once devoured the original sun. In a cosmic sense, stars are born, shine, collapse, and become black holes. Light becomes darkness, and from darkness, new light emerges. That's the eternal cycle of life and death, creation and destruction. That's the real meaning behind the sun god and the dark god, the two sides of Davy's soul. Luffy embodies the light, joy, freedom, and laughter. Teach embodies the dark, chaos, ambition, and death. Both are needed to complete the cycle. And that's why the final war of One Piece won't just be about who becomes Pirate King. It will be the rebirth of the original battle. Luffy, the new sun god, versus Teach, the new void. Two halves of Davy Jones' legacy, fighting to decide the world's fate. But there's more. The sun god wasn't just a liberator. He was also a destroyer. In some myths, the god who brings dawn must first burn the world to ashes. That's exactly what Luffy's awakening represents. Chaos followed by joy, destruction followed by freedom. The smile that terrifies his enemies is the same smile Davy once wore when he defied the gods. Maybe that's why Emu fears laughter, why they erased Joy Boy, why they hunted every D carrier. Because every time that grin appears, the world edges closer to dawn, and Emu's darkness starts to fade. So, putting it all together, Davy Jones was the original sun god, the first liberator, and the founder of the Will of D. He fought Emu, was erased from history, and his will scattered into light and darkness. Over centuries, that will reincarnated as Joy Boy, as Xebec, as Luffy, and even as Blackbeard. Each time the D reappears, the world shakes, the government panics, and history inches closer to repeating itself. Because the will of Davy is not just a dream. It's a cycle that cannot be stopped. Emu tried to kill the sun, but the sun always rises again. So what do you think? Was Davy Jones truly Nika himself, or something even greater? Because if this theory is true, then the final battle in One Piece isn't just about treasure or thrones. It's the war to restore the dawn that Davy once promised. The will of Davy, the will of the sun, the will of freedom. And it's almost time for that dawn to rise once again. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out.